All right, so we're gonna go on my Trail 70 1970, and this bike's got a really cool history in my family. So I'm gonna get this thing started up. Got it back to almost a first kick bike after all these years. So we're gonna go give the old girl a little run and get this piston moving down at Lars's Supermoto track with Brennan here. He's warming up on his Pui 50. So let me go tell you about this bike and go show you what the old girl can still do on the Supermoto track. Well, let's go. So we're here at Lars's compound, Gator Cloud MX he calls it. This is a area that we've been building up, making it a little track for our Groms and for 110cc pit bikes and stuff, and whatever else we feel like riding. So usually we ride our Groms and the Monkey and everything on here, but today, out of my extensive bike fleet, I think I only have two bikes that are currently able to be ridden right now. One is the 1970 Trail 70 that I'm on, and the 77 Honda Z50 Monkey, the old Monkey. So isn't that ironic that everything I have right now is out of commission except for the two old bikes? So that shows why I love Honda so much, is the quality of it and the longevity of these bikes. But anyways, back to this bike. So we're riding, oh, you got it, yeah. So we're riding the old trail bike today. The Monkey and the Grom, or the new Monkey and the Grom, have their wheels off because I'm sending them out to get powder coated and get some new tires on them. So Brennan wanted to ride today. It's 4th of July, so everybody's home, and we'll make it a fun day. So I brought the Trail 70 out, and I figured I would show you guys it on the track and tell you a little bit of history about the bike. So this Honda 1970 Trail 70, CT-70 is the build name of it, or the official name. It says Trail 70 on the side, but I don't know. CT-70 Trail 70. This bike has been in my family before I have. So I was born in 1981. I'm 37 years old, and this is a 1970 model. And I believe my grandfather bought it back maybe 71 or 72. Not new, but you know, barely used. And then my parents bought it from him shortly after, and then it's been in my family since that time, living in upstate New York. We used to live in Long Island, New York, and we had a summer cabin in upstate New York. Cabin in the mountains of upstate New York. So this bike's lived in the mountains of upstate New York since that time. And as a kid growing up in New York, I grew up going to that summer place, and this bike has always been up there. And honestly, over the whole course of my life, I only remember the bike actually running decent, if anything, running at all, just very few times within my lifespan. So to me, the bike has never really ran right. And when I became older, it was just a source of frustration. It was like, how come that motorcycle never works? And my dad wasn't really a motorcycle kind of guy, so he didn't really pay too much attention with it. We had ATC 70s and 125 three-wheelers that we rode, so nobody was really caring too much about the trail bike and if, you know, it worked or not. So I saw it run just a couple of times throughout my life when I was younger in upstate New York. But as I got older, within the last couple of years, I remembered the bike being up there and vowed to recover it and get it restored. And it had been down to Florida once before because my dad realized it was kind of an antique now and he wanted it back down here. So we brought it back down here and he gave it to somebody to fix and couldn't really get it right. So it went back to upstate New York for some reason, and it still never ran right up there. It didn't run at all for a long time. So I brought the bike back to Florida with me and started doing some research, and this was after I bought the Z50. So I had some knowledge with the 70s Hondas at that point, and I found a good source for parts, both for the Z50s and the CT-70s, and CHP Performance, which is a company out of Texas that specializes in these old trail bikes. And with that, I bought a lot of parts for the Z50 and basically rebuilt that. And they had all that stuff for the CT-70s too, so I bought all the stuff to rebuild the bikes off that company. I brought all the parts to basically rebuild all the subsystems up there while we were on vacation, which is the all the ignition stuff, spark plug, spark wire, coil, battery, you know, basically everything to do just like tune-up sort of rebuild, not engine rebuild, but you know, systems rebuild stuff. Just basically replace everything on the bike that was easy. So I went up on vacation and put all the parts on a new carburetor. See, CHP makes a nice carburetor, and bike wouldn't start, not even a chance. So, no, actually, I lied. It would start and idle wonderfully, but it would sputter and pop and spit, and the pipe would get really hot when I revved it up. So it was a really weird problem. And at the end of the day, I did a lot of research and I just couldn't figure it out. So the last thing that I didn't get to, because I didn't have a soldering iron in New York, was the ignition points, condenser, and coils. So when I brought it back to Florida, I replaced those things and still did the same thing. Actually, no, I lie. It didn't even start. So I couldn't even get the bike started after I changed all the ignition stuff. So that was really frustrating, because it's like, all right, this stuff's all brand new. What the hell is going on? Why doesn't it start? It was running before, so I knew I screwed something up with the ignition system. So got to digging around in it and ended up figuring out that I had part of it grounded out. The connection to the points was actually touching the metal part of the engine case in that area. So I was like, wow, after all this time of fiddling around with it and can't get it to run right, it was two things basically, which was the ignition system, the points, and eventually that grounding out issue. So once I fixed that, it literally started up first kick and ran beautifully, and that's where I'm at now. So at this point in time, it's almost a first kick bike. You know, it's a 1970, so that's, I don't know, 30 years is to 2000, and this is almost a 50-year-old bike at this point. So it's just incredible to me that this thing still runs the way it does. So present day, I have an amazing old vintage Honda trail bike that runs amazing. I can put my kids on it, and as you see today, it's a cool little bike to just cruise around the neighborhood with. And you know, I come over here and I watch Renan ride, and I'm able to follow him. So yeah, that was awesome. Good job. I have to go. You want me to try? You want me to try to go fast in this bike? All right, let's see. So Renan wants me to go fast on the trail bike. He keeps saying he's sending it off this jump, so we'll watch him send it off this jump. He tends to actually send it a little bit too hard sometimes, so hopefully he's not getting tired. Yeah, that was pretty good. These peewees bottom out so fast. So back to the trail bike, in between Renan's send-its here. I have an amazing running bike at this point here in Florida, and we can bring it to the race paddock with us when we race our Miatas, but more or less I keep it in the garage. There he goes, good. I keep it in the garage, and if I need to run down to my parents' house or just take a quick little sunset cruise with the boys or whatever, I stack them on here and I go, and it's super easy to do that with this bike. That was good. That was perfect. You me? All right. He wants me to do it. And with it being an automatic with just 3 up shifting, it makes it even easier because the kids. All right, let's send it for them. So basically, quick little overview blog style history of my CT-70. This is one of my favorite bikes in the fleet. Believe it or not, I think my 77 Z50 is probably my favorite, and it's just because it's a small little mini bike and fun to ride. It's so easy to ride. We'll cover that bike next or in an upcoming vlog, but for now, my 2082 mild original CT-70, no mods, just original motor, just tuned up, no power additions, no piston changes, no ring changes, no overbores, just factory replacement tune-ups. And this bike is as reliable as it was in 1970, straight off the showroom floor, even with the factory original tires. So can't go wrong with the CT-70, and better pick them up now because these are getting rare, and if you can find them, they're fully redone, and they're either fully redone or trashed, and they're well over $1,000 bucks. So hope you enjoyed it.